I've twice been I've been well organized, well involved in Republican things in Maryland. Twice been an alternate delegate to the Republican convention. Served on not only Governor Hogan's transition team, but also that of Governor Early. I was the finance chairman for a Republican state senator from here in Montgomery County. Boy, that was a while back. I'm a past president of the University of Maryland Alumni Association. Go Terps, we won yesterday, didn't we? Yeah, okay. We have in the state of Maryland over 300,000 Maryland alumni. Thousands of them live in Montgomery County. And I'm a founding director of the Maryland Public Policy Foundation, which some of you may be familiar with. Now, what I've got is comments that I wanted to make, and I've got them on these cards. So all the comments I have. Now, I know you're thinking, oh no, Calderwood, you're not going to read through all of that, are you? No, I'm not. But I wanted to have more out because I don't want to have happen to me what happened to one of the newly elected senators back in January. You may have read about it. But you know, in November, we had several newly elected U.S. senators, didn't we? And one of them was to give a speech, a big speech. His first big speech was going to be on national television, and it was a big audience, thousands of people, and so he was starting to get ready for it, but he didn't have a lot of time. He had a speechwriter, but he and the speechwriter had a big falling out. They didn't like each other, okay? One argument after another. So the senator said the day before the speech, he says to his speechwriter, write this speech, get it ready, I'm going to get it tomorrow morning from you, then you're out, you're finished, I don't want to see you anymore. Okay? So, the next morning the senator runs in, and he's been in a big rush at hearings and all of this, and he says, okay, Dumbo, where's my speech? So he hands him this envelope, he says it's inside. Okay, give me that and get out. So the senator runs out and he goes into the auditorium. And as he gets there, he's being introduced. So he runs right up to the podium. The cameras are going. The press is there. All of this. And he opens up the envelope and he starts to read. And it says, ladies and gentlemen, today I am going to give you a detailed plan that will solve all the problems of America. It's going to lower taxes, balance the budget, eliminate the debt. It will lower crime, raise the education levels of all of us. It'll clear up the problems of the Mideast. It will eliminate pollution. You know, it will bring peace and harmony to everyone. And I'm going to give you the details of that program right now. And with that, the senator turned the page. And on the next page was one sentence. Okay, you SOB, you're now on your own. So, bearing in mind what happened to that guy, I've got my notes out here. Okay, we have a great opportunity in Montgomery County, one we haven't had for quite a while. That is to pick up the seat in CD8, Congressional District 8. Can we do it is the answer. If you only remember three words from what I say in my talk today, remember these three words. Don't blow it. You can have the greatest ideas there are. You can have the greatest proposals there are. But if you don't get elected to Congress, it does you no good at all. You have to vote for somebody and get somebody in office who may actually be able to win in November of 16. And that's what I'm concentrating on. As a result, I'm really not going to be going into a lot of issues because we're YRs, right? We've all been politically active. Everyone in this room, some of you I've worked with, you have been out there on the hustling, getting people to vote, making the phone calls, putting up the signs. You've been active. You understand what it is to win an election. And that's what I have been concentrating on now for some time. So I'm not going to go into the issues because we're probably all opposed to the president's Iran deal. We probably all realize that taxes should be lowered. We all realize what a mess the debt has got us in and in the future and how that's harming in America. We all understand we all want a stronger military so we don't get pushed around all over the world. And I hope that everyone also is very pleased with the job and the way Governor Hogan is proceeding. And I'm very, very proud to be part of his administration. All right. Let me talk about it now. What is it going to take to get elected in November of 2016 to Congress for the 8th District? The one big thing it's going to take is bucks. That campaign is 1.5 million. If you can't raise 1.5 million, don't even bother running. It's just not going to work unless you got 1.5 million. If you look at who's running in the Democrat Party, I did a very extensive survey of Kathleen Matthews' filing that she had to make with the Federal Election Commission a few weeks ago. It was the first filing she had made, and it's an eye-opener. She raised over $500,000. Yeah, she raised over $500,000. You gonna vote for me? Absentee? You're gonna get your absentee ballot. They'll send you over it. Thanks. Okay. If you go through her filing, 26 pages of Kathleen Matthews' filing is a list of who her contributors are and how much they gave. In single space for 26 pages. If you take a look at it, it's something else. Now, I've gone through it in detail, and you see name, where they live, and how much they gave. $2,700 is the maximum, okay? So you see name, 2,700, 2,700, 2,700, right down the list. Every now and then there's a 1,000. But it's 2,700, 2,700, all the way through for 26 pages. Who's on everybody know who Ted Leonis is?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Ted Leonis owns the Washington Wizards, he owns the Washington Capitals, and he owns Verizon Center where they play. He's on her list at 2,700. Okay? So is Buffy Capritz. Capritz family, one of the biggest builders for the last 50 years in the Washington area. There are megabuck people on there. What happens? What happens in stuff like this? Ted Leonis wants to raise even more money. Real easy. He calls people who supply his companies with things. Okay, so you got the pizza people who do have the pizza concessions. I don't know if he's done this, but he can. And he will call and say, "Oh, I need $2,700 from you. We're for Kathleen Matthews' campaign." Now he's not giving it, but he's going to put the arm on all the business people he deals with to also make the contributions. That's life. That's what happens in the political arena. That's what we have to be prepared for. But you go through that list of people, you see former Democrat cabinet officers. You see investment bankers on Kathleen Matthews' list. Investment bankers from New York are on there. And her husband has an unbelievable Rolodex that can come in there. So we have to be prepared to meet. She will probably raise $4 to $5 million. All right? If we have a candidate who's not prepared to raise $1.5 million, forget it. That person won't win. That's life. That's the way it's going to be out there. So, what have I been doing to get that kind of money? Oh, yeah, let me tell you something else. And I never thought I'd feel sorry for Valerie Urban. Everybody know who she is? Okay, Valerie Urban just dropped out of the Democratic primary last Friday. Now, she twice was elected to the Montgomery County Council. She was president of the Montgomery County Council at one time. She was elected to the Montgomery County School Board. She's no novice to Montgomery County politics. She's a very articulate, very smart, very liberal black woman who has accomplished quite a bit, actually. She announced she was running in the Democratic primary for the Congressional seat. She dropped out last Friday. Read the press release she put out announcing her dropping out. I never thought I'd feel sorry for Valerie Urban. But she says because I can't raise the money. So somebody like Valerie Urban, who's politically sophisticated in Montgomery County, who has all these contacts from her years in the county council and the school board, and she can't raise the kind of money to deal with Jamie Raskin and Kathleen Matthews. That's sad. That's very sad. What do you think a Republican can do if they can't raise the kind of money necessary to deal with those candidates? Because it doesn't do you any good with the greatest ideas in the world if you can't get elected to Congress. All right, what I've been doing, I have been spending the last 6 months meeting with all kinds of people who can write checks for $2,700. Because they haven't announced yet, I'm not actually accepting the checks, as I don't want to make the FEC filing yet. But I've got a lot of commitments from people willing to do it. And it has been a lot of follow-ups. What do? I have a lot of good contacts in various business communities. Okay, I represent a general counsel of a major defense contracting association. Those are people, some of those companies that trade in New York Stock Exchange. I've been able to get to their CEOs. I played golf with 3 of their CEOs just about a month ago, telling him what I was planning to do. By the way, if you're ever running for office and you play golf with people you want to raise money for, make sure you lose. Make sure you hit your ball over there in the lake, okay? Make sure you lose. In any event, I've been going around talking to these people. There's an Asian business group in Bethesda, men and women of various Asian backgrounds. They're very good. I've been meeting with them. They know a lot. They have a lot of really good connections with it. I know I've got to move fast. I was planning to do more than this. By the way, let me get back to Kathleen Matthews for a minute. Her campaign strategist is Ann Dunn. I don't know if anybody knows who she is. Does anybody know who she is? Sound like Donald Trump, you know. Okay, yeah, Ryan. Okay. She was a top campaign advisor and official with Obama's campaign. She worked in the White House after he got elected for his first term, running political affairs. She worked at the Democratic National Committee for a number of years as one of their top officials. She's ran senatorial campaigns for Democrats in Colorado and in New Mexico. She's also run several congressional campaigns for Democrats around the country. She is extremely plugged in. Her approach to politics is take no prisoners. She doesn't give you any room for maneuver at all. She's very, very savvy, and that's who Kathleen Matthews has hired to be in overall charge of her campaign. When I say Kathleen Matthews is serious, I mean she's really serious. And that's why our candidate has to be very serious too. You're running for Congress, not president of your high school class, okay? So you've got to approach this, if you have any chance of winning, you've got to approach it in a very, very serious manner. Okay, that's Ann Dunn. I'm going to try to move ahead. So I've been meeting with people who can contribute $2,700. I'm going to be out in San Diego in 2 weeks. I'm going to be speaking to a group out there, big trade association, 1,500 people. Many of the companies are traded in New York Stock Exchange. It'll be the third year in a row I've spoken to them. I've got to meet a lot of those CEOs. I will be meeting with them again. Those are the kind of people I make the contacts with and have been. Because what do? You set it. You get a verbal commitment for the $2,700. You follow it up with written confirmations. You follow that up. But you also ask them to ask their friends. Because people that can write checks for $2,700 know other people who can write checks for $2,700, right? It just keeps going out and out and out. And that's what you keep, and that's what I've been doing. I keep encouraging this, going to your next person, talk to the next guy. Because I've got to get to that $1.5 million level. Now, I'm going to put up a fair amount of my own money. There's no doubt about that. Now, I know I've got to, salt it away in the beginning, because nobody's going to give you money. I've now arranged, I had a great meeting with a guy. All this guy does politically is PACs. And he has all these contacts with the PACs. And obviously he charges a commission for it. But he's going to be able to go out there and make all the PAC contacts for him in order to get the PAC contributions. Now, that's going to be very, very good. But the PACs aren't given anything unless you can put together a well-thought-out plan. Because you got to show them what you're going to do. You got to show them how you can win, how you can raise the money. All these kind of things you got to put together if you're going to get the PAC money. And I've already got some PACs that are going to indicate they're going to pay me something. Are you signaling me, or you just nosing? Okay. Yeah. But in any event, that's because the first step, because if you can't raise $1.5 million, you're going to lose. It's as simple as that. You can't win. So what I've been doing is constant. The other thing is campaign organization. I've been meeting with large numbers of people who provide campaign services. See who's all here. I was at the Northeast Republican meeting in Philadelphia that was held a couple of months ago. Great meeting. Carly Ferrano was there. Scott Walker was there. We had Chris Christie speaking. But more importantly, there were about 1,000 active Republicans from around the state. Not the state, but around the Northeast corridor. And what the people there, we had programs on how to raise money, programs on how to get on media, things like this. This was very practical. Campaigns and elections. How many people know about Campaigns and Elections magazine? You do, Ryan does, I'm sure. Yes. Okay. And Gus. Okay. Campaigns and Election magazine is the publication on campaigning for office, and it's not Democrat, it's not Republican. It's great. It comes out every 2 months. It's great to go through there. They got all kinds of things. What has worked in one election? What hasn't worked in an election? It's aimed at campaign professionals. Each year, they put on a big 2-day program on how to run for office. And they have top people there, the people that know how to run campaigns, that know how to do polling, that know how to do fundraising. And I attended this. It's actually the second time I've attended it. And now I followed up with a number of the people who were there about what they could do for me and how they could do it and what kind of arrangements we could make. I'm not saying all this because I'm trying to say, well, I know this guy or I know that guy. I'm trying to say what has to be done if we're going to have a realistic chance of winning in November of 2016. Let's see. So, let me kind of real quick go through. Oh yeah, the University of Maryland Alumni Association, as I said, I used to be president. You know, you don't know when this stuff comes out. I was invited, I often get invited, to the suites at Bird Stadium where Maryland plays. And they have these very, very nice suites. Who owns those suites? Business people do, okay? And so I have to get invited up there. And for the Richmond game, which we also won, there was a lot of those people. Okay, I'll cut it off. But anyway, and I'm talking to these people there and said, look, I'm thinking of run. Oh, hey, good. Give me a call. Give me a call. So I do. I follow up with all these people. All right. Let me move real quick. Tom Donahue, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce. I've known him, and he's inviting me over to a lot of things. The Chamber's not endorsing me. They're not endorsing anybody. But he's making a lot of contacts available for me. Okay. So, going through this real quick. Is my time up? Keep going. Pull the rug
2 minutes.
on. Pull the rug on. But the bottom line is this: unless you have a solid plan to raise at least 1.5 million, which is sort of a tipping point if you're going to deal with Kathleen Matthews' 4 or 5 million, and unless you have a good plan with professionals behind you, ready to work at it, ready to go at it, ready to be able to help you, and you providing the input to them, unless you're ready to do that, you have no chance of winning, and you're not going to get the kind of support from the Republican Congressional Campaign Committee and others that you may need. Okay. With that, I'll turn it back to you.
Well, thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Everybody give it up for Jim Calderwood. If you haven't ordered food